Hello guys and welcome back to the forest. In this week's video, I will be looking at the most popular supporters from the top 10 cubes. Now, I went to cubekoga and selected popular cubes, and you may notice that some of them are missing. There are specific cubes I omitted for these particular reasons. 1. They were all singleton, which meant that the supporters they did have were only one of copies and would skew the data. 2. It was a limited format. The limited format would mean the selection of cards available to the cube builders would also skew the data because it would not even include certain sets. And number 3, they are 2-player cubes, which are built drastically differently and have different numbers of cards because it's built for 2 players. Now that we've laid out the rules, let's get on to the video. Honorable mentions. We have a few cards to be in honorable mentions, that being Copycat, Clara, and Teammates. Copycat is a really wonderful card, letting you copy the number of cards that are in your opponent. Go figure. And is a really beautiful card. And I won't say anything, but we may or may not have a ton of copycats in our cube. And being in 8 of the 10 cubes with a 1.8 card average, it was pretty close to making the cut. Clara was in 8 out of the 10 cubes with about 1 to 2 cards per cube. Clara is just a really good recovery option, giving you the option to recover either 2 Pokemon or 2 basic energies into your hand, and I can see why it's in many cubes. Teammates was also an 8 out of 10 cube and had about a 1 card average per cube. And it's a very good comeback mechanic, allowing you to search up for 2 of any card after your Pokemon was knocked out last turn. And that can be a little bit too powerful for certain cubes, so I can see why not everyone would want it in their cube. Number 10. Rosa is the most popular comeback mechanic card to put in your cube, letting you search for up to a Pokemon, trainer card, and basic energy card from your deck if your Pokemon was knocked out last turn. That is a really good variety of cards, including trainer cards, which is not as often searched out unless you're a Skyla, and you know, that's a kinda sad use of your supporter. Rosa searching out those cards really justifies it being in 9 out of 10 cubes and about 1 to 2 cards per cube. Number 9. Tate and Liza are next, being in 9 of the 10 cubes I looked at. There's about 2 to 3 cards at 2.7 average in each cube, and I can really see why. This card is the best of both worlds, being able to switch when you need it or just drawing, and makes a really good consistency engine. It's not the most popular draw, those are later, but Tate and Liza does a really good job nonetheless. Number 8. And here we have Professor Research, or is it Juniper? Maybe it's Sycamore. Anyways, all these professors that discard your hand to draw a fresh new 7 are well deserving for their place on this list, being in 9 out of the 10 cubes I looked at with a 3.2 card average. Number 7. Guzma and Hala come next, and they are the first cards that are 10 out of 10 cubes I looked at. I personally think that Tate and Liza is more useful in cubes, but Guzma and Hala, with their ability to search out stadium cards, as well as tools or special energy if you so desire, really cements it into this spot. Number 6. I suppose energy denial as a tech option is fairly popular because that is why Team Flare Grunt is number 6, being in 10 out of the 10 cubes and only slightly more on average in each cube than Guzma and Hala. And it makes sense, having guaranteed energy removal other than just crushing hammer heads is probably very useful, and as a small tech option to throw there in your cube for fun makes a lot of sense to me. Number 5. Breaking into our number 5 spot is Cynthia and Caitlin, and these 2 blonde-haired beauties make a lot of sense. It's basically a nerfed version of VS Seeker, recovering a supporter card into your hand using your supporter during this turn so you can't use that support card immediately, and the option to draw 3 more cards, and that's just a really good option. So it's no surprise that was in 10 of the 10 cubes I looked at, having a 2.1 average per cube. Number 4. Now these next two cards are something I'm completely blindsided by, because I didn't really know they existed as cards and are super popular, being in 10 out of the 10 cubes, having a 2.3 average card per cube, and it's Mallow or Oracle. Both of these cards do the same thing, where you get to search your deck for 2 cards and put them on top of your deck in any order. And I guess Control is just that good, that having a couple of those cards in your cube for people to be able to make more consistent decks really mattered that much. Number 3. The bronze medalist might surprise you. It is Birdkeeper, this dapper dude with a starlight, just look at that full art, just switches your active with your bench and then draws 3. Drawing 3 is a fairly powerful and well-balanced draw engine, and switching is also a very powerful mechanic in the card game. So I guess it makes sense that is why Birdkeeper is in 10 out of the 10 cubes with a 2.9 average Birdkeeper per cube. Number 2. Our lovely lady strikes once again. Unless you're into old dudes, then this card is right up your alley. For silver medal is Cynthia, or Professor Oak's new theory, as the classic kids call him, Pont. This is 4.7 average per cube, being in obviously 10 out of the 10 cubes I looked at. It's just one of the most classic and well, you know, it's the staple draw engine. One of the best. You just shuffle, draw 6. That is so good. This is the silver medalist. Number 1. Last but not least, we have Rocket's Admin, or N, and this card is like one of the best supporters ever printed, and it makes a lot of sense that it's very popular in cubes. What makes this card so amazing is its draw support in the beginning of the game and control in late game. Each player shuffles their hand in and draw per remaining prize card left. We've really never had a card since N, and it's one of the most amazing cards ever, and you definitely should have some copies of it in your cube. And it makes a lot of sense that it was in all 10 cubes with a 4.9 average per cube. That's it for this week. Let me know if any of the cards surprised you. I was certainly surprised by some of them. I will see you in next week's video. Bye!